Having just turned 80 and with a glorious career of more than 5 decades, Amitabh Bachchan's mystique holds unlike any in Hindi cinema history. Often at hand to capture some of those moments is the veteran news photographer Pradeep Chandra, who is about to release a pictorial chronicle of his titled Amitabh Bachchan, the Forever Superstar. Pradeep spoke to Mayank Chhaya Reports. I was looking at your books, and this one, the latest one, Amitabh Bachchan, the
Star forever.
the Forever Star.
That's correct.
When did it start, and what was the provocation for you to do a pictorial on him?
See, the real reason is this, that I had done a book on Mr. Bachchan, A.B. the Legend Photographer's Tribute. That was in 2005. I had written that book, which was published in 2006. Now that book is out of print. When I spoke to the publisher, he says, I don't want to publish it again because the cost of production has gone up and your books are pictorial, so very expensive. So I said, okay, you give back the rights. So he said, that's fine. So I was trying to resell that book, the same book.
I see.
So I met a couple of publishers, and they had the same thing, that one, the book is now outdated. I said, there are so many books which are outdated, but they have been like Vinod Mehta's Meena Kumari, or for that matter, Dom Moret's first book, which he wrote at the age of 23.
Right.
My father's son. I said, "Muka chapta hai wo." So finally, I met this gentleman in Delhi, and Mr. Vikas Rakheja. And he seemed to be not of great interest, but he says, "हाँ मैं देखता हूँ." So first he said that he said the same line, that the book is outdated and all that. You'll have to. So we were in conversation. Then I went to Bhopal with Mr. Javed Akhtar when I was doing an exhibition on his 75th birthday. Met him 2-3 times. And then finally we agreed on one thing, that okay, I will do a new book for you.
I see.
Forget that A.B. the Legend. So that is how the idea of this new book developed after I signed the contract.
I see. And how long did you take from start to finish?
A year and a half max, I would say.
Okay.
Because
and
for some reason, I could not start the book. I had signed the contract, but for some reason I couldn't start. But once it started, it took a year and a half max.
I see. And I mean, you have known Mr. Bachchan for a very long time. How did you go about choosing the photographs? Because you have a very big collection of his photographs. So did you dig into those, or you created a new one as well?
One, I buy a lot of pictures. I take from friends also. And secondly, selection of the pictures, at times it becomes very difficult because these art directors, the person who designed these books, some of them are so fussy, and especially in this, when I was doing this book, I had a lot of problems with the designer. I thought that he was very weak in designing. I didn't like his cover. He was difficult to, he was not easy to crop the pictures. Then he wanted to use cutouts, which I again said no. Then I don't know if you saw that I had made a double spread color collage.
Right.
And I have been working on this collage with a friend of mine for almost 3-4 months. We have taken each photograph and large size picture, and then correction, and then do this, that, adding color. And at the end of the book, when the book is ready, this designer is saying, this cannot go in my book. I said, "Arey bhai, this book is not yours. This is my book. You are only designing the book for which you are being paid."
Right.
So in spite of that, he sent a letter to the publisher that what we can do, we can use it in monochrome. I said, for 6 months or 4 months, bloody, we have been working in color, and you want to use it in monochrome? Are you out of your head? So I said, "Karke ho gaya." Anyway, then he then wanted to use paintings, which I had done a lot of my friends had done for me. Anyway, final ho gaya, and now the book is looking very nice, and we both. The publisher is happy, I am happy, and the people who have seen the first copy. So that's it.
Have you presented it to Mr. Bachchan yet?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The book is not in the market as yet. It will take another 2 weeks. It will be in the market by 24th, according to Amazon. But I told my publisher I want 2 copies, which I want to give to Mr. Bachchan. So the copies were delivered to me in time, and I left a message for Mr. Bachchan that I'm leaving a copy for you, and I left it on 9th.
How long have you known Mr. Bachchan?
I cannot claim that I still know him as such,
No, fair
but
enough. You have an acquaintance.
uh,
You have an
but
acquaintance.
I met him for the first time in 1973 when he had just come to Delhi after they got married, and I think they were flying to London or somewhere. And there used to be a man called editor called Manohar Sham Joshi. I'm sure you must have
Sure,
heard his
sure.
name.
Yeah, big name. Yeah,
He wrote Bunyad and all that.
yeah, yeah.
At that time, he was the editor of Saptahik. So he had asked me that why don't you go and do some pictures of Jaya Bachchan, Jaya Bhaduri, and Amitabh Bachchan. So the reporter was somebody else. We both had gone, and we both went, and Teji ji opened the door, and we waited there, and we were just chatting with her. एंड काफ़ी समय निकल गया, तो मैंने तेजी से पूछा कि अब जया जी को कहिए जरा आने के लिए. तो आई स्टिल रिमेंबर हर लाइन विच आई हैव रिटन इन माय फर्स्ट बुक. शी सेड, अभी तो अपनी बहू को मैं भी नहीं मिली हूँ, तो थोड़ा इंतजार करिए, मिलना है तो. And then walked in Amitabh Bachchan. He was wearing a red T-shirt, round neck, and he had a long chain. And he came and sat across the table, and that is when I photographed him for the first time. When I photographed him for the first time. I'm not saying that I knew him such.
Right. No, but the simple fact is that next year it will be 50 years of your having not known in the traditional sense of the word, but you are familiar with him for a very long time. It's an acquaintance with, I'm sure if he saw you on the road, he'll say, "Hi, Pradeep," at the very least.
No, of course, he
No,
knows me.
so, no, that's
He
what I'm
knows me
saying.
well.
I understand when you say you don't know him from that angle, but 50 years of having known someone like Mr. Bachchan, who remains India's most resplendent star of all times. I want you to recount, if you can, some interesting nuggets of what you think makes his personality.
See, the thing is, 1,000 times people have seen and written, and lakhs of time articles have said that he's very punctual and he always reaches in time. He's very polite. With me, he has been very nice, and whenever I have asked him something, like when I was doing my 61st, I wanted to do an exhibition of his work. I called him and I told him, Bachchanji, this is the thing I want to do. So he said, why don't you show me some work? So I went to meet him at Rajkamal Studios with 3 of the work. In one of them, Mr. Pritesh Nandi had written a poem on my photograph. The other was Chintan Upadhyay, who had painted half the thing. A third was my photograph. So he saw them and he liked it. And so his man, I think Praveen Jain, he saw me. So he says, आपका appointment है ना? बोला हाँ. तो बोला आप lunch कर रहे हैं, तो आप set पे बैठिए, मैं बुलाता हूँ. So anyway, as I was waiting on the set, he came and he saw that I was sitting in the corner. He said, अच्छा यहाँ पे बैठे हो, आपका टाइम निकल गया, मैं तो वेट कर रहा था, अब आपको दूसरा अपॉइंटमेंट लेना पड़ेगा.
Really?
तो मैंने कहा, बच्चन जी, don't say that. I was there in time. And then he came and saw that and he was देखा वेखा. But photograph करने के लिए पहले तो आपको पता है कि he never used to talk to press.
Right.
So long time went into that. But पंक्चुअलिटी का मेरे साथ ऐसा है, जो मैं 1-2 इंसिडेंट आपको बता सकता हूँ, कि वंस यू नो दैट बॉम्बे टाइम्स वाज डूइंग समथिंग ऑन हिम, एंड द filmy correspondent said that Bachchan is not available, we can't do an interview. So I asked, Meman was the editor, so I asked से मैंने पूछा, मैंने कहा, should I try? So I asked, said नेकी और पूछ. Ayaz often speaks to me in Hindi.
Right.
तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, तो मैंने बच्चन जी को मैसेज भेजा. He says, I'm in Delhi and I'm coming tomorrow. I told him that ऐसा है and we want to do this piece. He says, you call me tomorrow evening. So next day I called him. He says, tomorrow we'll fix it. मैंने कहा tomorrow is my last day. If you can't do tomorrow, तो रह जाएगा. He says नहीं, we'll fix it. The next day he called me at 12 o'clock from his mobile. And he says, Pradeep, where are you? How much time will you take to come to my place? I said, an hour. So he said, अच्छा, मैं जो सोच रहा था कि I'm going to Breach Candy, so you could have come with me and we could have done the interview in the van. I said, बच्चन जी एक घंटे में तो पॉसिबल नहीं है, एक घंटे के पहले नहीं पहुंच पाऊंगा. So he said, okay, once I leave my home, then I'll give you a call. So I went to a friend's place who had a speaker phone.
अच्छा.
तो मैंने कहा कि मैं आपको फ़ोन करता हूँ. उस नंबर से मैंने फ़ोन किया और मेरा दोस्त जो था वो और मैं दोनों पेन लेके बैठे और पूरा इंटरव्यू जो बोल रहे थे हम लिख रहे थे, रिकॉर्ड भी किया. देन आई वेंट टू हिज ऑफिस. आई सेड व्हाट अबाउट द पिक्चर? ही सेड पिक्चर तो नहीं हो पाएगा. मैंने कहा पिक्चर नहीं होगा तो मैं तो फोटोग्राफर हूँ. आई नीड द पिक्चर फर्स्ट, राइटिंग इज नॉट दैट. तो ही सेड ओके, यू कम टू ऑफिस अराउंड 4 o'clock, आई विल सी व्हाट वी कैन डू. तो आए तो उन्होंने पिक्चर दे दिया. मीनवाइल मैंने लिख के उनके ही ऑफिस से स्टोरी जो है फैक्स कर दिया उनके अपने ऑफिस में.
अच्छा.
और एक बार और शूट था मेरा. द शूट वाज एक्चुअली ऑन हरिवंशा बच्चन, डॉक्टर बच्चन एंड अमिताभ जी. तो ही सेड कि दैट वाज संडे, आई थिंक 97 or something, I don't remember the year. So he called me and he called me from his mobile and he said, Pradeep, I'm not well. So आपको क्या डेडलाइन है? मैंने कहा सर डेडलाइन तो आज का ही है. तो he said okay, I'll get back to you. मेरी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, मैं बताता हूँ आपको. बाद में उन्होंने फिर फ़ोन किया और बोला कि आप जो है ऐसा करिए 5 बजे आ जाइए. Then I told the reporter, because the thing was I was organizing that. तो हम दोनों गए, ये अपना व्हील चेयर पे ले आया डॉक्टर बच्चन को और लाके बैठे और he said I'm still not well. So I told him for a particular shot, I said this is the picture I want of you with this wheelchair. He said don't shoot this. मैंने कहा क्या हुआ अच्छा जी? He says ये इंडिया टुडे ने कल ही ये शूट किया है. और एक बार क्या था कि we had to do a shoot on Bombay, something to signify as well.
Right.
So we decided we'll do a picture of him in a taxi. So he said 7 बजे आ जाओ, टैक्सी में जाएंगे. तो पहले तो मैंने हाँ कर दिया. I mean you can't tell no to बच्चन जी. तो after some time I thought कि भी 7 बजे टैक्सी में अंधेरे में क्या आएगा फोटो. So I called back. I said बच्चन जी 7 बजे will be very late. डे लाइट नहीं रहेगा तो कुछ फोटोग्राफी करते हैं. तो he said okay, then come at 6. So instead of thinking about a cab, what we did, we hired one जूता पॉलिश वाला. उसको बोला भाई तुम्हें एक जूता करना है, एक जूता पॉलिश हमारे साथ चलना है कार में, तुमको ड्रॉप कर देंगे, आधा घंटा लगेगा. He said I'll charge you 100 rupees. He said fine. तो लेके गए उनके घर के बगल वाले बंगले के बाहर, उसको बिठा दिया पेड़ के नीचे. मैं जैसे ही वो जलसा में गया तो बच्चन जी आए अपना टाई वाई लगाए हुए, शर्ट पैंट टाई लगाए हुए, और ही वाज हियर टू गो समवेयर. इसने हाँ बोलिए आ गई टैक्सी. मैंने कहा बच्चन जी देयर इज स्लाइट प्रॉब्लम. क्या हुआ? मैंने कहा भी पैक चेंज हो गया है, आपको जूता पॉलिश करवाना है. अरे कहाँ प्रदीप, जूता पॉलिश करवाने कहाँ जाएंगे? मैंने कहा नहीं कहीं नहीं, आपके घर के बाहर ही बैठा हुआ है. आए बाहर तो जूता पॉलिश करवा रहे थे खड़े होके और मैं फोटोग्राफ कर रहा था जूम से थोड़ा दूर से. तो उसी समय वैसे रऊफ अहमद जा रहे थे अपनी कार में, रऊफ ना.
Yeah, sure.
So in the evening, next day when I met Rauf in the office, Rauf is telling, yesterday I saw you taking Amitabh Bachchan's duplicate photograph on the road. मैंने कहा duplicate नहीं थे भाई, अमिताभ बच्चन ही थे.
I know that photograph. You had sent me the last time. I think I have it.
Right. It must have been that.
In fact, it was somewhat of a little twist on the Diwar scene, right?
Correct.
Yeah. No, it's fascinating. I'm especially interested in your view as someone, like I said, who have interacted with him for nearly 50 years now. How do you look at fame of that kind? Rajesh Khanna, of course, was insanely famous too, but this fame has really endured for such a long time. How do you, as someone who interacts with him, see how do you see his fame?
I tell you one thing. Ever since the film industry started in India, since the days of Dada Saab Phalke, I would rate Mr. Ashok Kumar as the first superstar.
Right.
And he also worked for a very, very long time in films. Then there had been our dear Dev Saab, हम दोनों उनके फैन हैं.
जी जी.
He worked till he lived. But the thing is, he had lost his charm, on the screen many, many years ago.
Right.
राजेश खन्ना ऑफ कोर्स एज यू सेड बहुत नाम था, बहुत सुपरस्टार थे, सब ठीक है. मैं राजेश खन्ना को भी मैं बहुत अच्छी तरह जानता था.
I know, yeah.
एंड राजेश खन्ना न्यू मी वेरी वेल ऑल्सो. मगर अमिताभ बच्चन का जो है, जो चरिश्मा है, वो मुझे नहीं लगता कि पिछले 100 साल में किसी एक्टर का रहा होगा.
Yeah, but that's true. It's just a simple fact. You cannot deny it. I mean, there are huge names like Dilip Kumar or Raj Kapoor, and of course Devanand. But Mr. Bachchan, it's a very different kind of fame.
He's not only an actor.
Right.
I mean, everybody looks up to him. That.
Yeah.
अरे. And दूसरा उनका यह है कि वो जितना काम करते हैं, when you see the amount of work he does in films, you see his ads.
Right.
He started singing so late in his career. The man who was rejected by All India Radio has become one of the biggest singer.
Yeah.
क्या हनुमान चालीसा की बात करिए, क्या रविंद्र संगीत की बात करिए, हिंदी करिए, बंगाली करिए, बागबान के सारे गाने उन्होंने खुद गाए.
Right.
पोइट्री देखिए, हरिवंश बच्चन जी की कविता अमिताभ बच्चन गाते हैं, बस जस्ट खत्म हो जाओ सुन के लगता है.
जी. And but once again, my question remains: as someone who really interacts with him so regularly, how does he? I had asked him. In fact, I had asked him that question in one of my 2 interviews, but he sort of acted rather modestly, and I even pointed out. I said, "How do you handle fame of this kind?" And I'm not coming to you as a starstruck guy. I've never been starstruck in my life. I'm purely interested in the process of fame. How many people are this famous in the world? Forget India, across the world, maybe a handful. I'm curious to know how you process it. He just sort of laughed it off. What is your take on something like that?
See, I had asked him once, I think on quite a few occasions. One, he always says, "Ki, Are bhai, my father was I was born in the house, which was a celebrity." He always says, हमारे पिताजी तो हमसे कहीं बहुत बड़े सेलिब्रिटी थे, बहुत बड़ा नाम था, हमने उसके लिया है. मगर बच्चन जी का एक जो है, ये बताना बड़ा मुश्किल है कहना. Every time I've asked him and I've told him also, he says so humble, मैं तो कुछ हूँ नहीं, मैं तो क्या, I'm just doing my work, I'm just another actor. That's how he won't go beyond that. I had done an exhibition on him on his 75th birthday. It's available on YouTube, you can check. So when he had to speak on us, myself and my friend Asuja has done. So he's telling me, प्रदीप और असुजा आए और उन्होंने कान पकड़ के मुझे उठक बैठक करवाया, तब मुझे आना पड़ा. Otherwise, I don't like people, praising me and doing so many such exhibitions and blah blah blah. तो अभी मैं क्या बोल सकता हूँ जो आपका सवाल है? I'm just helpless.
No, I think at some level I understand, because you have to be in his shoes to know what it means, right? And he doesn't want to make a great deal out of it, understandably so. But my obsession was in terms of analyzing purely from a scientific standpoint. It's unheard of that someone can be this famous for this long.
I can't think of anybody else. I really can't think. I had sent you some Javed Akhtar and all that to say about him.
Right.
But देखिए उन्होंने उसको वर्ल्ड के आर्टिस्ट से कंपेयर किया. He says he's no less than any of them.
No, but that's true. It's just that he has not stepped out of that zone. Otherwise, he would have made as much impact. I want you to, in conclusion, I want you to tell me one gesture or one comment that has stayed with you all these decades of having interacted with him.
That's as of I really can't think of anything like that. But
Hmm.
as I said that, like when he called me on the mobile and he was gave me the whole interview, I thought they were very nice of him,
Right.
because I'm no great photographer and I'm no great writer as such. But the fact that he took time and he thought of me and कि चलो प्रदीप ने phone किया है तो करें. And even now when I call him, he always responds. He sends message if I call, leave a message or. So that thing I really like about him.